Hello everyone, Ivy Barrow here. This is my first ever podcast, so please bear with me. Be gentle. I am going to use the 7-stage model as a framework for this podcast. The model is one that's used following a breakup or a divorce or loss. And I'm using this model and this framework as it pertains to Harry and Meghan stepping back from senior royal duties and moving away to become self-financing in their life moving forward. There are a few models that range from 5 to 7 steps, basically outlining the same things in varying order. But more or less, this framework suffices. It covers all of the key points. I will move between them as I refer to various incidents over the last 10 months or so. And the first stage that I want to go through and talk with you all is denial. Desperate for answers, shock. The royal family claimed to be blindsided by Harry and Meghan's announcement in January 2020. Not true. Discussions had been taking place for many months and were getting nowhere. Harry and Meghan decided to take a break from the people who were making their lives difficult, which should have been a major red flag to all those putting barriers in their way. Because by November 2019, the end of November and all of December, Harry and Meghan took a break to an unknown destination. But, as is normal with the Sussexes, location was known by one tabloid reporter, who apparently gave the Sussexes 10 days to respond. Otherwise, an article would be published in the tabloids about their plans. Hence, come January, when they were back in the UK, Harry announced that they were stepping back from senior royal duties. There is a short video clip of the ITV News royal editor, Chris Shipp, being in shock that the announcement was made and the speed in which the Sussexes were planning to leave the UK. Whilst I am sure all of the tabloids knew things were not good behind the scenes, I got the impression that no one in the royal family or the royal rota believed that Harry was prepared to walk away from it all. He had had enough. I do therefore believe that Chris Shipp, the ITV News royal editor, as I mentioned earlier, was hyperventilating in that interview for real. This had never happened in the royal family before. Nothing quite like this. Perhaps there was a realisation that maybe he and his colleagues had taken it beyond where it should have gone, crossed the line by miles. I suspect there was a little of, whoops, what have we done? Like all abusers, genuine surprise that the abused person or people reached a point that stated enough is enough. We are out of here. Second stage, anger and denial. How could they do this? Will it be allowed for them to step back? What will happen with Sussex Royal? What will happen with their foundation? The most high-profile members of the royal family cannot understand it. We, the royal reporters, have been fair to them. If we go forward a few weeks to March the 9th and take a look at what happened at the Commonwealth Day service. A place of worship. The day that the facade slipped away completely. The outward hostility shown by William and Kate, and backed up by Ford Fiesta Sophie, confirmed to the world that there was indeed hostility between the Cambridges and the Sussexes. No effort was made to appear to be professional and to show some dignity on the last public engagement of Harry and Meghan. On a personal note, from that moment, I was totally done with the whole monarchy. Not just the senior royals, all of them. I was beyond disgusted at the whole service and the way that they carried on publicly. The arrogance on display by those who would be left behind, that they could behave that way with impunity, disgusted me. This notion that the abuser wants to continue to exercise control, and how dare the abused person say, "I am worth more than this, and I am leaving." The abusers were about to have the spotlight they craved for, and all that comes with it. Next stage, sadness, bargaining. The bargaining element comes later in this podcast. It is quite amusing, so look forward to that part. So on with sadness. I personally do not believe that any of the royal family or royal reporters felt sadness about the Sussexes leaving the UK. Partly because I don't think they believed it would actually happen. I do believe that the new Fab Four that appeared within weeks of that announcement realised that individually or combined they do not have the it factor, and the majority of the general public are not interested in their activities. The level of interest is even more stark on the global stage. They are discovering that titles alone do not cut it like they used to decades ago. Royal reporters noticed and missed the severe drop in income, which is continuing. Next stage, jealousy, competitiveness. I mean, who would believe that those emotions exist in our monarchy? But let's discuss. Those individuals with fragile egos decided that whilst the Sussexes took their 6-week break leading up to the Christmas of 2019, decided to try and play a game of one-upmanship. Dear, oh dear, UK monarchy had come to this. A series of Christmas photos appeared over that period and culminated in a cringe-worthy piece of footage of the future heirs and the Queen and Mary Berry supposedly preparing to bake something. No idea what it was, as I chose not to watch it, and only saw clips in news footage afterwards. I cannot even say it was amusing. It was just so uncomfortable to watch. The photos were interesting in their timing, not the content of the photos themselves. Usually there is one official Christmas photo. The first one appeared late one evening. There seemed to be some expectation that Harry and Meghan would release one, and the timing of the Cambridge photo was being held back deliberately apparently to appear after the Sussexes. So childish. More photos appeared, and TV appearances of the Cambridges doing various things. Royal reporters made huge efforts to write glowing reports on all appearances and productions. Still, nothing from the Sussexes, who were clearly getting on with their life and future plans. I did not get the impression that the general public were viewing in high numbers these antics of the royal family. So, despite all this effort to be front and centre of media coverage, the Sussexes released one photo for New Year's Day of Harry and Archie, and it dominated not only UK news coverage, but globally. It was picked up by news networks around the world and constantly kept appearing on reports and publications for days afterwards. The competitiveness of the royal family, or certain members of it, just made the UK royal family look comical. Apathy and anger is the next stage. The over-the-top "we don't care" that they have gone. Royal family do not care that they have gone. Royal family have washed their hands of them. Receipts exist for all those statements I've just made. This is now time for the Cambridges to shine, especially Kate. Kate has found her voice now. Or, again, each new style of voice does seem to get lost in the ether. 10 years and counting, but yes, royal family is doing just fine. And the royal family is not interested in what Harry and Meghan are doing. One royal reporter is on record, receipts exist again for that there is no need for the Rota to cover the Sussexes now. They will now be ignored. Oh, that we were all so fortunate. That never happened. I'm sure Harry and Meghan would have loved that. Before I go on to the next stage, just point out that all of these stages are not necessarily covered in chronological order, though most of them do follow on from one another to a degree. And where stages have been omitted, at some point there is a breakdown in the process, and naturally people move to a stage that has not been openly discussed by the main players, and it has proved necessary at some point to revisit or visit for the first time and acknowledge and air the unspoken thoughts on the issues. The alternative is like a festering wound that will not heal without attention. So, going on to the next stage, acceptance. In the case of the royal family, they have claimed false acceptance a number of times, and their official line is that they are moving on with the Fab Four. Well, Fab Four version 1, which was Charles and Camilla and William and Catherine, then turned into Fab Four version 2, Charles and Camilla, William and Catherine, and Sophie, otherwise known as Ford Fiesta. If you know, you know. Fab 4 version 3 we await with bated breath, as it seems none of the previous versions are garnering the attention that was desired. Hope and plans for the future is the next stage. Not really at this stage yet in any of those groups. It seems to me, if there were any thoughts on the future, the business model that they use, if they have one, would appear to be changing, because Fab 4 in any version is not doing it. The royal reporters are not making anywhere near the level of earnings that they were with the Sussexes on board. It appears to be a recognition that Harry and Meghan are needed to bridge the gap until the Cambridge children become adults. Yes, you hear that right. Once again, there are now requests for Harry to return to the royal family. Note, only Harry, no mention, of Meghan or their son. The mindset is just astounding of this family. No mention of all the other taxpayer-funded royals living in free accommodation, security provided, and all the perks. And on paper, most are non-working royals. Yet here we are, hearing about pleas for Harry to return to the UK. With all the skills and projects that the Sussexes have in mind, they had one of the oldest royal photographers known to man, who has been on numerous TV programmes in recent weeks, being vile and disparaging about Meghan, and putting blame for Harry ignoring all of the royal rota and leaving the UK on her shoulders. Recently, a video has been doing the rounds of the said photographer literally begging Harry to return to the royal family, because apparently Charles is busy taking over more and more of the Queen's work, and William and Catherine cannot take any more on. I am still confused about what actually William does. I know he makes lots of visits, not entirely certain where and what he's doing, but officially it's business, work, business. Moving on, and I definitely have no idea what Catherine does, and that has been the case over the last 10 plus years. I cannot even understand her when she speaks. So many skills of a Queen consort appear to be lacking. Producing heirs appears to be the only tangible results that I can see. As important as that is, it does seem to fall short of what was expected, particularly if you're not actually doing anything else in terms of projects. Prior to Meghan arriving on the scene, royal reporters also had similar thoughts, and there are plenty of receipts in terms of the content of the majority of the articles written at the time. As soon as it was known that a Meghan was joining the royal family, all of a sudden Kate was suddenly popular and was growing into her role. Clearly not enough, according to the senior royal photographer, hence this public plea to Harry for forgiveness and begging him to return and help them all out in the palaces.
The first year I thought she was sensational. I did lots of trips with her. I went to Morocco and I went to all around the Britain, Ireland, and she was great. But 4 times I asked the palace, or maybe 3 times I asked the palace, if we, as a media group, could meet Meghan, and it never happened. And I think if we had have met her and if she'd have met us, things might have been different. You know, might see that we're human and she's human. Unfortunately, she did get some bad press, and that was a mistake. But you know, we asked for forgiveness and please come back, because you know, this is a great country and the royal family are very important to us all. And the Queen needs your support, Harry, because you know William can't do it all, Catherine can't do it all. The Prince of Wales is taken on the Queen's role now, so he's even more busy. So you know, Harry's badly needed here, and I hope in March, which he's got till March to rethink it, he comes back.
The level of emotional blackmail that was tried in those few minutes of footage was vomit-inducing. Basically, they want a workhorse and powerhouse and most popular member of the royal family worldwide to come back and be poster guy for the family and do all the work that they do not want to do. Harry was asked to come back for the Queen's sake. Another piece of emotional blackmail. And with all due respect, neither the Queen nor Prince Charles are for this world for years to come. So the reason for all of this is to have Harry in place to prop up the Cambridges. An absolute liberty. So in summary, fake surprise that Harry and Meghan wanted to move away and be self-sufficient. Fake surprise that they have now purchased their own place and have a mortgage. It seems that the haters were expecting, and certainly would have preferred, for Harry and Meghan to be in a tent on a street corner, begging to return to the refined abuse in the UK. Kate is still looking for her voice, lost in a black hole somewhere. So many projects launched, but none completed by the Cambridges. Latest one involving Kate and a number of charities coming together. Charities basically doing the work, but officially it is Catherine's project. The official photo op at the launch, dressed in white, high heels, full makeup, manicured from head to toe, moved one box from one place to another. I would guess the box was empty, but that's a side detail. Photographer was on hand to take lots of shots for future articles about this yet another project being launched. Not long after photographs were taken, Kate left. In 10 years plus, nothing has come of any project she has headed up on paper. Reputation of the royal family is slipping fast, it seems. Let us not forget that the top-class PR teams that the palaces use, who look after CEOs, remember, clearly feel very pressurised following the publication of Finding Freedom. A very good book, I understand. In 4 years, it is known that the palace never publicly supported Meghan under the torrent of abuse she was receiving from the tabloid media in the UK. I would argue because all of their activity was sanctioned or ordered by the royal family. In the book Finding Freedom, the lack of public support, if any ever existed from the family to Meghan, was confirmed. The Sussexes were left to deal with the onslaught. Not a word came from the palace, otherwise it would have stopped. As soon as the book was published, and this fact was confirmed by at least 2 sources for each claim made in the book, the palace within hours of publication made a statement that said there were at least 6 occasions when they publicly spoke out on Meghan's behalf. I do not know what those 6 occasions were, as I did not bother to read the details, because no one I spoke to remembered those occasions either. My thought on that claim is even if there were 6 occasions of public support from the royal family, it is a known fact that over 246,000 articles were written about Meghan in a 12-month period from June 2018 to May 2019. If they could only find 6 over a 4-year period, let alone 6 from 246,000 plus over a 12-month period, most of which were negative, it is a pretty poor show. It would have been better if the royal family had remained silent, because that figure does them no favours at all. The royal family, UK media including the Royal Rota personnel, and various hater groups and individuals within the general public have abused the Sussex family and in particular the Duchess of Sussex. Sussex Squad always believed it, and now a fast growing number globally have come to the same conclusion. Royal Reporter's answer is to double down on the abuse and to continue to harass and interfere in Sussex affairs in Canada and now in the USA. UK media continue to interview those that perpetuate lies and the abuse. Both of those groups for increased revenue when the name Sussex is in their headlines. The members of the public, who are also making money in some cases, are again walking a fine line with their activities. Appropriate organisations are monitoring that type of activity. Trust me, their time will be up soon. The toxic environment on social media platforms is getting out of hand. The number of burner accounts of media personnel is unreal, and the poison that is spread by them and other haters is a very unsanitary view of UK monarchy. The actual accounts of UK media personnel are a haven for toxic posts left to sit there, and all add to the abuse of Meghan and Harry. Action is needed to make this level of hatred be unacceptable, and that platforms need to lose income quickly whilst they allow these type of posts to stand. Last but not least, we now have haters attacking any charity or group that Harry and Meghan are associated with. The aim is clearly to deter others from associating with them in the future. Typical abuser behaviour. Attack friends and people close to the victim. Isolate them and make them feel that they are safer with the abuser they know. Royal reporters have taken it upon themselves to attack two women who belong to the global support network for the Sussexes, simply because the couple have personally thanked them for their fundraising efforts. Royal reporters have form, and there are receipts of going after other female members of the squad, trying to ruin employment status and basically wanting people to be quiet and not vocal in any way of the Sussexes. This is what is happening out there on the streets of social media. Royal reporters hiding on accounts and then applying these kind of abuser tactics with the aim to ruin the lives of individuals who are only doing good things for people who need it. All funds go directly to the charities. Only a twisted mind could have an issue with fundraising. Has UK media learnt nothing? How many women have to die, or people have lives ruined forever by the activities of this unruly mob, who work hand in glove on occasions with UK monarchy? They tried to ruin the lives of the Sussexes. They tried to ruin the life of Meghan and her unborn child. They told Sussexes to leave the UK, and if they did not like it. In fact, they told Meghan specifically first. The couple left, and the UK media followed them, or sent paparazzi to try and hound them back to the safer, abusive environment in the UK. Now the Sussexes have brought their own home in the USA, which should tell everyone this is where they plan to stay. So what do we get from media? One of them making a pathetic video recording begging only Harry to come back. Really? Latest is to Harrison print articles on 2 female members of Sussex Squad who happen to be women. Innocent people. Is this what the UK media does now? Find all people, charities related in any way to a support network for the Sussexes and try to ruin their lives instead? The tone the media is setting is encouraging the hater groups out there to do the same. Absolute disgrace, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Receipts are there, the posts are there, under the charities' comments. What an indictment on the UK. Meanwhile, the Sussexes' star is rising even quicker because of this behaviour, and the world is thankful. The Squad is worldwide, and UK media have absolutely no idea how far and wide this support network covers. Men and women, various nationalities, mainly people of colour, all walks of life, powerful in their own right, and our support of the Sussexes is a lifetime membership. UK media, in particular royal reporters, would be better served doing positive things rather than attempt to destroy people's lives. It is not a good legacy to have, and worse, it is now known worldwide. Do better. To all the listeners, thank you so much for your time. I hope most of you, if not all, are still with me at this point, and I really hope we speak again soon. So bye from me, Ivy. Bye.